Hey, what's up, family? Back again for another uh, Bible study that I was kind of reading this AM that really blessed me. And I'm reminded by the words of the Messiah when he said, "Anything is possible to the one who believes." The one who has faith, trust, belief in the Most High God. Anything is possible. And reading this Old Testament uh, material, you really understand that the way that the Father moves. And so often we want so much, the accumulation of things, but sometimes a little by a little keep you dependent on the Father and on His, substance and things of that nature. So, really quick video, really quick. Should be no more than 10 minutes, but let's go to the book of First Kings 17. First Kings 17. First Kings 17 and let's start at verse 3. It says, "Depart from here and turn eastward and hide yourself by the brook Cherith, which is east of the Jordan. You shall drink from the brook I have commanded." And it's very fascinating. That word commanded, I was looking it up, and that word means tava, tasva, and it means to appoint, to command, to be ordered. So, meaning God, the Most High said, I've already ordered this to happen, but it says, I have commanded the ravens to um, feed you there. So he went and did according to the word of God, or word of the Lord. This Bible says, he went and lived by the brook Cherith, that is east of the Jordan, and the ravens. And I think that's an interesting thing because we have to remember it wasn't a single raven, that was ravens. I mean, that was many birds that fed him. And I think that's a very interesting thing that you can forget in your mind. You may think one or two birds, but no, who's to say? It could have been 10 birds all carrying substance to him. And if you think about it, 10 birds carrying something, that could be quite a bit of food. Anyway, he said, and the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. So he had a natural water source right there that God provided. After a while, the brook dried up because there was no rain in the land. As we continue, verse 8, the widow of Zarephath, then the word of the Lord came to him, or the word of the Most High came to him and said, "Arise, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow there to feed you." So he arose. So it's very interesting, something we'll see from the beginning. So God had commanded all this to happen, but watch what the widow says after what the widow says downward, that I thought was an interesting parallel. So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came in the gate of the city, behold, a widow was there gathering sticks. And he called to her and said, "Bring me a little water in a vessel, that I may drink." And she was going to bring it. He called to her and said, "Bring me a morsel of bread in your hand." And she said, As the Lord your God lives, I have nothing baked." There's kind of a little bit of worry there, a little bit of fear trying to take place. She said, "Only a handful of flour in a jar and a little oil in a jug. And now I gather a couple sticks that I may go in and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." So the Most High had already commanded it, but she's afraid. And I thought it was very interesting that he commanded her to do it, but she doesn't know that what's going to result. And I thought it was just very fascinating little mixture right there. Shows you the power of faith over fear. But it was already commanded by God to the prophet to go there, because there was a miracle in essence that was about to happen. Let's continue. And Elijah said to her, "Do not fear. Do not fear." And that word fear in the Hebrew is like to be afraid of something, to kind of dread it a little bit. He said, "Go and do." And as you have said, but first make me a little cake of it and bring it to me, and afterward make some for yourself and your son for For thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, the jar of flour shall not be spent, and the jug of oil shall not be empty until the day that the Lord sends rain upon the earth. And she went and did as Elijah said, and she and her household ate for many days. They ate for many days. So here she was saying they're going to eat and die. He said, bring me some food first. And the miracle and the blessing of the Father produced food for her. And see, that's an interesting thing too, because sometimes the will of God accomplishes two things. The prophet needed to be fed, but also she needed food to sustain herself and her son. The two worked right together, and I think that's a powerful point as well. And it says the jar of flour was not spent, neither did the jug of oil become empty, according to the word of the Lord that He spoke to Elijah. So sometimes, guys, we truly got to live by faith. And whatever that means to our personal life, it could be maybe call this person, send a text message here, send an email here, write a note here, go up and talk to this person here. You never know how God is going to strengthen you and sustain you. And in America, we're so driven by these the kind of a corporate jobs that everything is so 24/7, 24/7 that the jobs really become God. But sometimes you have to lose a little bit to really depend on God. And when you depend on God for small things, you see the beauty in Him for even the bigger things. We have to have faith in these days. And like Elijah told the widow, fear not. Fear not. Keep your trust in God. Do what it is He's called you to do. And as you do what He's called you to do, He'll provide for you. Take care, guys, in peace.